Good day, and today we're going to be doing a Let's Play of Heretic. Now this is another game from my childhood that I remember quite a bit. Now when I was growing up, I didn't actually have the full version of this game. In fact, I only had the shareware version. I still have it actually on floppy disk. So I've only actually played City of the Damned, but we're also going to get to all of these. Now, this is a game that was really kind of instrumental in my childhood, really, because this was the very first time I actually was exposed to the fantasy concept. You know, with wizards and warriors and stuff like that. Before then, I was just a sci-fi guy. You know, I liked plasma cannons, machine guns, blowing up various monsters or aliens and stuff like that. This is the first time I actually, you know, got into the whole medieval fantasy thing. Now, what would end up happening is this would really be the only exposure I would have for many years until I actually started reading Harry Potter. And then, for some reason, and I don't even know what this reason is, I stopped liking Harry Potter. I actually couldn't stand it anymore, and for some reason, and don't ask me why, I actually stopped liking fiction in general and went for a few years just, you know, reading history texts, really. My E key is not working. What the hell? I thought I had changed the controls, but apparently not. Which is kind of annoying. What the hell is use here? Joy 4? Really? I guess you could play this game with a joystick, although I don't know why you'd want to. Well, you could play... Actually, what's weird? This actually reminds me of something. You know, back in that, you could play games with legit joysticks. I'd imagine like something along the lines of like a flight joystick or something, because I don't think like real gamepads or PCs became popular until like years later. I don't know, but that's going to be my guess. I never actually tried or wanted to play a FPS with a flight joystick. That just sounds utterly horrible. But yeah, I mean, I stopped liking you know, fiction in general. I don't even know why, because like the last Harry Potter book I read was like the Phoenix Chalice or something like that. Goblet of Fire, that's what the fucking thing was. Goblet of Fire. Like, I didn't really have that big of a problem with it. I mean, from what I remember, it wasn't that bad. And I think, you know, from what I've heard, like, the Harry Potter books are supposed to get better and better as time goes on, like, less childish. So, I don't know. Young General Lotz was weird like that. Very, very weird. I'm actually going to use the stick, because I think fighting stabs are cool. Too bad I'm getting, like, really hurt by using it, but oh well. Quarterstaff's actually kind of a weapon that I've always really liked, you know, of the melee weapons. I mean, swords are cool, spears are also cool, but for me, once again, growing up, the fighting staff was sort of my melee weapon of choice. Mainly because both my grandfather and I would actually make our own. What's now a housing addition used to be this forest with trees that were actually good for making staves with. And like we'd like cut the branches off and, you know, literally go through all the process of making, you know, a staff. And we still have several of them to this day. Although what I ended up doing with mine was something kind of stupid. I actually decided to make them into spears, and so I like modified them into that. It's actually kind of cool when I think about it. Because literally how I was able to make a wooden spear was like I used this, you know, some kind of, it was a belt sander if I'm not mistaken. Just ground it down to a point. And I always called that guy just killed a witch doctor. Actually, it's what my grandfather called it, and I just sort of went off from there. They actually are undead warriors, I think, but I'm just going to call them witch doctors, because that's what I grew up with, goddammit. And that's what I'm going to stick with. Save. Because I'm lazy, I'm just going to call it 1. The track playing is actually my favorite. And then, of course, you got the mummies here. They're actually golems, but it looks like they're got bandages on, not, you know, rock or stone, you know. So they're more of a mummy. Those things are gargoyles, the red guys I'm just slaughtering with impunity. Those, of course, I called fire bats, because they're kind of like, they don't even look like bats, but goddammit, that's what I'm gonna call them. And we're back. I will not lie, I had to double check and make sure Fraps was even recording my audio, because I've had that happen where like, I'll start a Let's Play, and, you know, the bloody thing won't even be working. Now, as you can see, this uses the Doom engine. What's the modify? Now, obviously, I'm using a source for it. I'm using Zandronum. But, in and of itself, it was, you know, a bit more advanced. Had some significant improvements, like an inventory system, which is something that was actually seen in just about every Raven software game, really. They were big on that. And I think that's actually pretty cool. But the more advanced FPS is, the more you can actually do in it, the better. Now, my favorite genre of games is, of course, the RPG genre, because I like story, but, you know, Raven Software really went above and beyond when it came to making games. You know, like you know, Doom and other id Software games are very, very light on story. I mean, there's like that infamous saying, or I think it was John Carmack saying, like, you know, in a porn movie, you don't really want a story, you're just there for, like, the porn aspect of it. And he basically applied that to games. Like, in a game, all you want to do is kill things, you don't want a story. But, you know, Raven Software wasn't like it. Like, you know, you can have story and, you know, gameplay. And I think they were way better for it. You know, I'm a big id Software fan, but to me, I think, you know, Raven Software games just have a lot more substance. That's not that, even saying that, like, you know, you can't really complain about id Software games. Not really. You know, like, you could say, oh yeah, Doom didn't have a story, so therefore it's somehow inferior. But let's face it, I love Heretic. I actually would say that, you know, of all the Doom engine games, like, maybe even Hexen is my favorite just because there's so much you can do in that game. But, you know, more people remember Doom than they do Heretic. I know that. Heretic's more of a cult classic, and, well, Doom's an icon. And you can't really complain about Doom because people are still playing it, you know, literal decades, if you can believe that, after it came out. So any real problems with it, you can't even really say are problems, because if it was that bad, you know, it would have been forgotten along with all the other, you know, FPSs that nobody plays anymore. I mean, it's just crazy. I got my chain dragon claw. I still swear this looks like a helmet though. And I know it wouldn't make any sense if it were, but that's a really big goddamn hand. Look at that. That's just amazing. Like, the size of, like, I know it's perspective, but it's just like a Liefeldian hand, you know? Where, like, it's as big as somebody's fucking head. And of course, you can use, like, a chainsaw, chain gun. And then, of course, I was using a crossbow, which, like the shotgun from Doom, is by far the best. And also the coolest, I think. This, of course, is a pistol. Map scroll. Actually, you see the map, but we're not worried about the map. You know what that really needs to be, though? I just realized something. It really needs to be sort of a brutal Doom for Heretic here. There is something kind of like that for Hexen, and I will, if I get to Hexen, which I'm not sure I will, which I will use when I play Hexen, if I get to it. It's basically where it gives you a level up system, kind of like, it basically turns Hexen into first person deal. And it's really good, and I've enjoyed playing it with that mod. I've actually played a full game with that particular mod, and it's great. But once again, playing Hexen in Let's Play format is not really easy. That's why I like these, you know, fast-paced, you know, first-person shooters, because I don't have to, like, spend hours and hours doing one small thing. Just got the chain gun and just chain them up, or lightning them up. Got my dragon claw. Fusro da, indeed. And die, you fucking bitch. And they just fall apart, and, well, that guy didn't. Wait, there's actually, my favorite weapon in the whole game, other than the crossbow, are these bastards right here. These are the gauntlets of the Necromancer. And it's metal gauntlets that shoot out fucking lightning. Yeah, I don't find your lack of faith deserving, but you know what? So be it, Jedi. Now you will die. Something dark side. Mr. Saltine is angry. But anyway, you gotta admit that's a bit cooler than a chainsaw. I mean, lightning gloves? Come on. How can that not be awesome? Let's see here, right? The level design in this game is a lot more advanced than Doom as well. You know, you expect. I mean, just look at the texture on it. Stuff actually looks like stuff. I remember as a kid, like, that's so amazing. That's a city or a castle or something. Okay, that looks like, god damn it. You know what? We're gonna no clip it, ladies and gentlemen, because we is cheaters around here. Why are we cheaters? Because cheating is fun. It sets us apart from those lowly non-cheaters. They don't know how good it is. The dark side is good. Now, if only crossbows actually work like this. This looks like a repeating crossbow, which actually exists. It's a Chinese invention, actually. They don't like very powerful, but they can certainly put out a field of fire, that's for sure. Sort of like a lever action kind of thing, almost. You'd lift up, like, on the like to fire it. Each time you fired it, you like pick up another bow, or no, you pick up another bolt. That's what they are. And you fire it off like that. Hey, I think I picked up the bag of holding. Yeah, back before I actually knew anything about D&D, it was just like the bag of holding. That's kind of redundant. Still need to play the old D&D. Recently got, well, I say recently, but last year got into Magic the Gathering. Actually, as of this recording, I played a bit of that with the old Timpedia. Played it in person, a lot of fun, although, let's face it, Timpedia's been playing for like years, and I've been playing for a year, so I lose every goddamn time. Although I did win one! I did win one, so I thought we'd be happy about that. You gotta love the lighting this mod puts in. You know, there's actually a 3D mod for this. I'd almost play it, but the reason I don't is because I like to play the original one that I played, you know, growing up, and this is the one. So I mean, and the 3D mod looks really good. I'm not gonna knock it for like, oh, the textures are no, it looks good. But what the modders did for that, they made it look pretty amazing actually. There's actually a 3D one for Doom as well, but once again, I'm going for more of an original touch with these, you know, id ones. Well, this is id. This is Raven, but these classic, you know, Doom engine. Let's call it that. Let's just stick with that. Now, what's really annoying is, you know, I have my own magic deck, and like since I've moved to Utah here, Utah, I did not actually bring it. So that's been mailed to me, so I've been using some of Timpedia's decks, and I do not like them that much. Simply because they're like 3 color decks, or 2 color decks, about 2 color decks. That's what I actually use. The blue-white deck. Because I like fucking with people. My favorite card of all time. Now, I'm not really an advanced player, so there's probably way better cards than this, but right now, for my lowly status as newbie Magic player, is I absolutely love the pacifism. I love cards that just make creatures, like you could be waiting an entire game to play, you know, this one creature, and you put pacifism on them. Now that I think of it, like some of the cards Tempedia's been playing, which are real bullshit cards, I might add, Mr. Pedia. They actually do a lot more than like pacifism ever does. But for somebody that doesn't really know that much, it still is extraordinarily satisfying to put pacifism on somebody. And that's a lot of witch doctors. Actually kind of look like Cylon, don't they? Well, I'm down to the bloody staff. I'm down to the pistol of the game. You know, I probably have a Tome of Power, but I'm not gonna use it. Actually, you know what? I think I will actually use it. Tome of Power, motherfuckers! Eat it! Get to fire 2 blasts. This was actually really amazing back in 1990, whatever this was. I cannot remember when this game came out. I used to, but I do not anymore. I'm down to 5 of these shots here. Now, you're not supposed to do that, but I did it anyway. I even think it's kind of cool that it has the little water current here. It's like I'm pushing against the current. You can't really tell, but I am. I mean, that was something that wasn't... Whoa, that's a lot of witch doctors. That's a lot of them. Let's get out that bowcaster. You know, I remember in the Heretic review from years ago, how I started playing the Golden Axe theme when they showed up. Now, I really liked Golden Axe. There's actually going to be a Golden Axe review. At least there was one planned. Not of the original game, but there's a fan-made game called Golden Axe Mythic, I think. It's either Golden Axe Mythic or Myth. I don't remember which. That should open, but it's not, so we're going to jump in here. And Golden Axe Myth is actually pretty good. It's a 4-player simultaneous local co-op game. It could possibly be online co-op, but I doubt it. There's definitely local co-op. Ah, the morph over more. I can turn things into chickens. Or is it pigs? I think pigs was Hexen, actually. Feed them to the pigs, Harold! Ah, that was a good movie. Snatch. Okay, did that open this door? No, it did not. That's the problem. This is I prefer this HUD to any of the... Actually, wait. See, I was going to say, I prefer this HUD to the original one, but you can't see the keys. But you can see the keys. But my fraps counter's actually covering them up. No, it wasn't. I was probably on some sort of tangent, but I forget what it is already. Let's see, is this door open? Yes, it does. Like, I've pretty much memorized these levels, at least until my memory fails me. But going back to these old games, especially at a time like this, is great, because I do miss these, you know, old 90s FPSs. Because you know what? I think only until recently, this is going to be a really, really controversial thing. I think only until recently, like in the 2000s, did RPGs actually become fun enough for someone such as myself to play them. Because like back in the day, as a kid growing up, I could never, ever play an Ultimate game. Or even, you know, any of the Elder Scrolls games. Because it'd be too complicated for me to be fun. Now, like, you know, your Final Fantasies and Dragon Warriors and games like that, you know, where like it's like 1 or 2 buttons. You know, those are good. Those I could have played back in the day, but never really did. Like I think I mentioned in several other videos, like I played, you know, Final Fantasy. I think it was the American 3, but it was like Japanese 6 or something like that. I forget. I used to know, but I cannot recall at the moment. But I played that one. But like my favorite RPGs are where your character is a blank slate, where it can actually be you. You know, it actually reminds me of something about Doom, you know, like where they didn't want to characterize the Doom guy, and it was supposed to be you and all that nonsense. And I found that to be more annoying than anything else, because like, it's clearly not me, because I don't live in the future, and I'm not a space marine, or well, any kind of marine, so it doesn't really apply, does it? So yeah, that doesn't really work. But yeah, I mean, for me, I like an RPG where I'm a blank slate, or the character's a blank slate. Because that way you can actually get into the role of it, you know? I like Mass Effect, but one of my big problems with Mass Effect is, do I have a green key? Yeah, I do. The big problem with Mass Effect is Shepard's actually too much of a character, you know? That's why KOTOR 2 is still one of my favorite RPGs of all time, because, you know, he or she is not a real, you know, character. You actually make all the choices to make that particular character into a legit character, you know? Whereas the Revan, you know, he already had all the history, he was a Sith Lord and all that. But the Jedi XL is just completely blank, and you can like do anything you wanted with that particular character. Which is why I like the Bethesda games now, you know, because once again, complete blank slate. You're just some former prisoner. This is actually one of my favorite levels from the game because it actually looks like a legit place versus this video game level. I'm also wondering if I should do LP of Corridor 7. The only reason I don't want to is because I don't think that I would actually be able to play it well. And what that means is I'd probably be wandering around way too much, because that was a game that, you know, it used the Wolfenstein 3D engine, but it tried to be, and I think really succeeded in being, you know, more advanced than a lot of its contemporaries, because the levels were more complicated, required you to think. A lot of the enemies could actually, like, take the form of, like, a fucking chair, so you could never really tell, you know, if a room was clear unless, like, something started shooting at you. The overall atmosphere, I think, was, you know, a lot more spooky and horror-based than anything else. But that was another game that I did have the full version of it, but I never actually beat it. In fact, mainly what I would do is I would just reload my grandfather's save, because he's the only one that ever got me there in that game. Like, I would just get, like, I would get turned around or lost, and I would just give up. Be like, screw this, or I wouldn't actually say that. It actually reminds me of a humorous memory, like, because growing up, you know, I couldn't really swear. Like, nobody liked, well, anybody swearing. I wasn't supposed to do it, but I remember playing Duke Nukem one day, and, like, I remember this distinctly, just because I was, like, so shocked that I said it. Like, I hope nobody heard me. And this just sounds so stupid, but I still find it an amusing story nonetheless. Like, I think I picked up, like, some scuba gear or something. Or it could have been a weapon. I don't know, because, like Duke would swear at me, you know, and I actually think it's kind of cool. It increased his allure. You know, these days, I think Duke is literally not even a character. In fact, I'd almost say Lo Wang is a better, you know, FPS hero than he is. But back in the day, it was like, when you're a kid, it's like, Duke is like this cool guy. But what I did is I picked up some sort of weapon or the scuba gear or something, because I remember it was like, it's the level where you're on the submarine, like the submarine just sank or something. Or it was sinking, like you picked up an item and like he shouted out, bitch it, and I literally said just that out loud, really loud too, and I was like, oh, and I automatically got like really nervous that somebody heard me. How times change. How times change. These days, I can say out the word fuck with impunity, because I is mature. But anyway, that was an interesting little FPS moment there. It's funny how I liked Duke more as a kid than I do. Like, I guess because I am more mature and I just can't really get into the whole... Duke is nothing but one-liners, you know? He's just not really a character. I did try going back to Duke recently. Oh, I say recently. I found I just didn't like the game that much. Like, when I reviewed it, I had just started playing it after like 5 or many years of having not played it. I was like, oh, this game is good as I remember. But then I tried playing it again just for fun, and it was like, I actually liked this. Like, I didn't even feel that bad. I actually still really liked Shadow Warrior. I still like this game too. It's just like, there's something about Duke I just didn't like. I don't even know what it is yet. Eventually, I will play Duke Nukem Forever, and eventually I'll do that thing that Running with Scissors is making a remake of Duke, and I don't have a green key, because I is moron. I probably need to go back down here. Yeah, there it is. No, that's not it. Lie, it's just a coral. That's not a coral, it's a bolt. It's an ethereal bolt. It's actually kind of funny, playing this game. I may have mentioned this in another Let's Play, but like on Christmas when I was a kid, I got a little pistol crossbow from my grandfather. And I think it was because of this game that I actually wanted it, because I was like, it's a crossbow, it's really cool. It was a cheap little pistol crossbow too, and I think I never actually shot it that much, but I'll never forget that one Christmas morning. It was a very good Christmas morning too, because I got like this big Millennium Falcon playset. Oh yeah, there's the guy. I remember that guy. That's the Disciple of Disparel. And you know what? These things used to freak me the fuck out as a kid. Like that, you can't actually hear it in the game, in the game, but like the sounds they make were fucking scary. Especially like as a kid, like you're just like playing by yourself, like in a dark house and everything, and everybody's asleep and you can hear it. Like that used to set me on edge a lot. Ah, how times change. Yeah, that pistol crossbow. I mean, my grandfather wanted to test. I think either he wanted to test fire or something. I don't remember. It was a really long time ago. And like he accidentally shot out something in the fireplace, if I'm not mistaken. But the funniest thing was, like, I think it was my mother who was like, who instead of thinking it was him, was yelled out like, "John! Like, how could you fire it?" But it's actually him. It's hilarious. I wish I still had that little pistol crossbow. It didn't work after a while, because once again, it was really cheap. But I'd still like to have it, because that was another little happy memory from back in the day. Crossbow's actually pretty expensive. Just putting that out there. And to me, they're kind of useless, because you can't really hunt with one. At least, not in Texas, because if I'm not mistaken, the law there... I don't know what the law in Utah is, since I'm not in Texas anymore, but the law in Texas was you can't actually, use those to hunt with. If you're gonna go bow hunting, you have to use a bow. Which makes sense, I suppose. I think, like, you can use a hunting crossbow under certain circumstances, but I do not know what those are. We're just sort of zipping along in here, because I'm actually remembering where shit is. Whatever next. That's actually kind of annoying with this little, Heretic review. I actually did a really bad compression of it, where I was like was trying out different compressions just because I didn't even really need to, and I think like it made all the reds kind of faded out. I might even still be using that compression, but the reds might be faded out in this. I don't know. Oh yeah, and as of this recording, and you guys will know long before this recording, did finish Prehistoric Isle today. And that was pretty cool. I had, as of this recording, had that video for a very long time just because of, well, life makes fools of us all, indeed. But now, back to doing it. You know what really sucks, though? It's something this is going on as I'm recording, which is bad. But I will persevere, damn it. I will fight my sickness. I'm actually getting kind of hot. But I will persevere. It is General Lotz suffering for your entertainment. Almost said pleasure. If I said that, that'd be kind of weird, so I didn't. I just said that I was going to say it, that makes it all good. And before anybody asks, no blood. I will not be doing a blood Let's Play. The game is fucking impossible. No, I did not play that as a kid. Playing it now, it's like, damn. And also, since I ended up deleting it, I'd actually spent... well, I hadn't actually, but certain individual did spend some time actually getting the aspect ratio fixed and all of that, and I ended up deleting it. So, yeah, I'm not going to be able to fix that. And I don't want to just play it with that shitty aspect ratio and the horrid turret controls, which totally do not work. Like, the turret controls do not... I don't know how anybody would have played it with turret controls, but apparently people did, and I don't know how.